On October 24th, Chief Animation Director Kiminori Ito desperately cried out about the production issues that was plaguing Tokyo 24 Forward. Quoting Kiminori Ito, "Cloverworks has 3 shows lined up for January. The fact that Tokyo 24 Forward was announced last is because its schedule is the most behind. I'm guessing." End quote. The anime was set to air on January 5th, 2022, in the winter of anime. At this current time, there's 6 episodes out on Funimation, the first episode sitting at a whopping 48-minute runtime, while the upcoming episode has been hit with a production delay. Episode 7 was supposed to air on February 16th, 2022, but now has been delayed until February 23rd, 2022. The source is by the official Tokyo 24 Forward social media account on Twitter. Link will be in the description if you want to see it for yourself. With the production issues now halting an episode from broadcasting, the concern Kiminori Ito, Chief Animation Director, had late last year on November 1st, 2021 is coming to fruition. Quoting what he said, "I'm aboard a sinking ship. We're about to go under. Ha." End quote. A day later, Ito, Chief Animation Director, would give even more disheartening news. "I've been involved in a lot of jobs with low-quality drawings, but it looks like I'm about to experience an animation breakdown this time. I'm only half joking." End quote. Kiminori Ito was growing more and more pessimistic as the air date of Tokyo 24 Forward approached closer and closer. Seeing things falling down around you has to be mentally and physically exhausting. I wonder how the animation team felt and if it rings similar to Kiminori Ito's plights in these public posts. Many of you watching this video might not have ever heard of Kiminori Ito, but I believe most of you are aware of some of the things he has worked on. To name a few, he's worked on A Cell World that aired on April 7th, 2012, working on key animation for Episode 1 and Episode 2. He was the animation director of Episode 2 and Episode 11 of Erased, and second key animation for Episode 4, and art setting assistant of Episode 2 and 11, and assistant animation director of Episode 4, 7, and 12, and character design cooperation of Episode 2 and 11, and key animation of Episode 1, 2, and 11 for Erased. As for Fairy Tail, he was the second key animation for Episode 35. Gate TV Opening was the second key animation. Gintama, second key animation. Inuyasha, the final act. He was the second key animation and key animation for Episode 22. The 7 Deadly Sins animation director for Episode 3 and 8, and key animation for Episode 1 and 3. This list is but a few that he's worked on. Kiminori Ito has quite the pedigree, and a lot of anime he's worked on has had a lot of production issues. 7 Deadly Sins being one that I think many will easily recognize. To further Kiminori Ito's plights, he made multiple posts, one on November 24th, 2021, making a joke about wishing he could still be naive about chief animation directors, sipping a glass of wine in one hand and the other making easy adjustments to faces. However, the most eye-opening or damning thing was about to be said. November 30th, 2021, stating, "It's too hard, man. Gonna die." End quote. However, this wasn't the end of Ito's outcry to Tokyo 24 Forward crumbling around him as chief animation director. On December 10th, he talks about how there's still incomplete layouts with another 20 cuts for Episode 1 that needs to go through the chief animation director. Only 7 days later, he makes another public post. "Stop it already. I have no life." End quote. December 19th, only 2 days after the last post, he states, "When will the animation break down? It's the job I'm currently doing." On December 21st, he mentions that a bunch of animators were pulled in last minute to stop a complete collapse. Later that same day, he posts a picture saying, "I'm camping here tonight." These events that started from October 24th, 2021 to December 21st is one of the very few times a production breakdown has been so publicly displayed for all eyes to see. The outcry from a chief animation director over the span of weeks shows how brutal crunch or production issues can be. Ever since that post, Kiminori Ito has been mostly quiet on social media, so we don't truly know what's happening at this current time, but with the recent news of an episode delay, I can only assume production is once again breaking down around him. As for the animators working with Ito, I don't know if they share his similar plight or fear. However, I can only imagine the level of stress it would cause to see your chief animation director worried to such a degree. Nowadays, people have probably heard the news of Mappa overworking employees or Madhouse, but this isn't just those two studios. Cloverworks has done this just as much, or maybe more. As more and more people become aware of the overwork culture, or crunch as some of us know it as, it makes you wonder what can be done and what can be the solution to the problem. The issues at hand with the famous word crunch, overwork, or production issues that plague the anime industry isn't just tied to the anime industry. It's completely saturated in Japanese culture. Mangaka face similar problems with crunch and deadlines, while business workers in Japan also experience a similar effect. The problem isn't just an animation studio, so the way to correct this issue isn't just something that can easily be solved, which is why it's been so persistent in Japanese culture for decades. It's not something that is just easily fixed, but with more outcry from people within the Japanese community, at least it's raising awareness of the problem. Still, I doubt this will be enough, and hopefully in the future we will see positive change. For now, we can only sit and wait and see what happens next for the Tokyo 24 Forward anime that is currently being worked on. I do hope the animators are getting rest and are getting treated right, because clearly they put their heart and soul and love into what they work on, and this doesn't just go for Tokyo 24 Forward, this goes for pretty much all anime. I feel like any animator really does love what they work on despite all the problems, which is why they stick through all of these troubled problems that goes through production. But I'm going to leave this video at that. But if you're interested in seeing the comments or articles for yourself, I will link them in the description. Thank you all for watching, and if I gave you any information or enjoyment while watching this video, then, please leave me a like, and subscribe if you want more of my content to appear in your YouTube feed. I love you all, and be safe. Chibi out.